Unlocking your miraculous aura. Attract prosperity, love and divine healing in 7 days of sacred Tra. In the quaint English village of Maplewood, a gentle dusk draped over the rooftops, sparking whispers of divine healing and miraculous grace. Each evening, mothers, fathers, and children quietly convened at St. Jude's Church, the very heart of their community. It was here that Mary, a devoted mother, led them in fervent prayers for her son David, who suffered from a mysterious and debilitating illness. Their faith vibrated in the air, thickening like the evening fog. As candles flickered and shadows danced on aged stone walls, Mary's voice soared above the soft rustle of hopeful hearts. "O St. Jude, you who are the patron of impossible causes, hear our prayer." Muffled amens echoed back like promises, and as the townsfolk gathered, the sanctuary buzzed with an indescribable energy. The air seemed charged with something more, an unshakable belief in miracles. Every night, it felt as if the sacred edifice was alive, a divine echo of positive affirmations surrounding them. There were stories every dusk, fragile flowers blooming overnight, a child's laughter returning after a long absence, an unexpected delivery of bread appearing at the church's doorsteps. Each tale stitched the villagers closer, cementing their unity in faith and hope. But skepticism simmered beneath their fervor, a dark cloud overshadowing their devotion. A local man, Mr. Alder, scorned these gatherings and proclaimed, "Miracles are mere fables. What proof do we have?" His voice sliced through the warmth, igniting conflict within the community, creating doubt where belief once reigned. Some speculated while others turned away, whispers growing like weeds. That fateful Sunday, Pastor John announced with a booming hope, "Miracles will unfold within 7 days. Believe, dear friends. Trust in faith." His earnest call ignited embers of hope, yet the very next evening, the sky unleashed a tempest. Wind howled, rain lashed furiously, and families retreated behind closed doors, isolating faith with fear. It was as though the heavens themselves conspired against their prayers. A chilling reminder of underlying despair. In the eye of the storm, Mary's heart fractured. Was their prayer in vain? With trembling hands, she sank to her knees. "O Lord, grant my son healing. Please help us." As tears streamed down her face, an unexpected calm filled her soul. A luminous light flooded her vision. A divine presence assured her, "Your faith will unlock David's healing. Just wait." With newfound determination igniting her spirit, Mary reached out to every neighbor. "One last prayer rally," she implored. "Gather with me. Together we can invoke unshakable faith." The village, drawn back to their sanctuary, found themselves tethered by hope, anticipation blooming in the sacred air. As they stood shoulder to shoulder, each prayer was a whispered wish, each heart was a vessel of faith. Would this gathering become the moment that restored their beliefs? Would the miraculous manifest before their eyes? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The air crackled with expectancy as they awaited the impossible. Eyes wide, breaths held. Together they stood on the precipice of divine possibility, united against doubt and despair. Could their collective faith ignite the miraculous? As their voices blended, a wave of warmth enveloped them, each prayer rising like incense to the heavens. But the question lingered tantalizingly. Would David emerge healed from this trial, or would darkness continue to cast its shadow? The room filled with fervent whispers, each soul leaning into the energy that pulsed around them, as if the very stones of St. Jude's were curating a sacred symphony. Mary felt a surge of warmth in her heart. She opened her palms, feeling the collective might of their faith radiate outward. "O most Holy Spirit," she began, her voice steady, "allow us to be vessels of love and healing." Each line of the prayer was a lifeline cast into the tumultuous sea of uncertainty. Faces around her had turned to the divine, hope lighting their eyes like the flickering candle flames. It was no longer just Mary praying for David. It was the whole village interceding as one. Their harmony filled the ancient church with a divine resonance. Past the arches and stained glass windows, the winds moaned in protest. Yet within the church, peace reigned, a precious gift contrasting with the chaos outside. Muffled cries of the storm seemed distant, even irrelevant, as a new whisper of faith took hold, igniting a profound sense of communion among the townsfolk. Just as their voices crescendoed, a flicker of light burst from the altar. A divine presence brushed against them like a gentle breeze. In that moment, everything felt possible. Could this really be the sign? Mary's heart raced with anticipation, every prayer becoming a heartbeat, reminding them of their shared humanity and their boundless trust in something greater. But not everyone felt the warmth. Mr. Alder stood near the rear, skepticism weighing heavily on his brow. His arms crossed and lips pursed. He couldn't share in this warmth. What did they truly have to believe in? The rational thoughts swirled in his mind, a stark contrast to the faith blooming before him. Yet with every prayer spoken, he felt an unsettling stirring within. Was a miracle even possible? The atmosphere thickened, charged with a palpable tension. Mary sensed the uncertainty not just around her, but deep in her very being. Would their faith be enough to bridge the gap between despair and hope? She cast a glance to David's empty seat, an ache curling in her heart. In a moment of holy inspiration, she turned to her fellow villagers. "What if our faith extends beyond our request?" she encouraged, her voice emboldened by the presence of the divine. "What if we pray not just for healing, but for understanding, for love, for revelation? Let every petition be layered with gratitude and trust." Their tongues danced in prayer, and this new dimension filled the church with warmth more profound than before. Each man and woman began to praise, almost as if their gratitude was the key that would unlock heaven's door. "Thank you for every breath, every day, and for the strength we find in each other," they whispered, surrendering their fears, clasping each other's hands in solidarity. And then, something extraordinary happened. A sudden hush fell over the congregation, breaking the humid weight of uncertainty. An electric stillness took hold, punctuated only by the soft whispers of hopes and dreams as an unseen wave swept through them. "Look!" someone gasped, pointing towards the altar. There, amidst the flickering candles, appeared a figure clothed in light, serene and enveloping. Unmistakably divine, it emitted an understanding that transcended human language, a promise shimmering in its presence. In that transcendent moment, what appeared to be an impending storm of tragedy began to reverse. Faces filled with awe, the villagers were united in wonder. How deep does faith go? As the luminous figure began to fade, they all felt an inner shift, a stirring of hope and the dawning of possibility. Mary didn't just feel hope, she felt change. The miraculous was close, she could taste it, but she could not ignore the still looming question in her heart. Would this be enough? And amidst the swelling tide of emotions, as they prepared to leave, an unshakable thought echoed. What awaited them in the coming dawn? What would the culmination of their faith truly unveil? As the villagers began to disperse, whispers of wonder lingered in the air, but the shadows of doubt still encroached. Mary turned and caught Mr. Alder's eye. He stood apart, shaking his head slowly, a frown etched upon his brow. The light that had flickered so radiantly seemed to have dimmed in his world. Yet there was a softness about his expression that spoke of a heart wrestling with itself. "Mr. Alder," she approached gently, "you felt it too, didn't you? The presence, the warmth? You can't deny it." He shifted uncomfortably, the weight of disbelief clashing with a glimmer of curiosity. "I'm not sure what I felt, Mary. The light? It's beautiful, but can it truly heal? Does hope fix broken bones?" She understood his struggle. Faith was a journey, not a destination, and every step was laden with questions. Hope doesn't just heal, it transforms. Sometimes, it's not about the miracle we seek, but the faith we hold. He sighed deeply, looking back at the altar. "I want to believe, but I don't know how." With a smile, Mary replied, "It begins with a simple prayer. Open your heart, even if only a crack. Sometimes belief grows from the smallest flicker." As the last of the candles sputtered, casting soft shadows on the walls, Mr. Alder nodded, the steadfastness of doubt still evident in his eyes but quaking with the stirrings of faith. Meanwhile, within the other villages, something subtle yet profound was unfolding. They shared stories of their lives, of losses that had almost drowned their spirits, of children's laughter echoing through empty homes now filled with despair. Yet amidst these tales flowed an undercurrent of resilience, a reminder of the higher rhythm of life. How many wounds had been bandaged by community alone? How many miracles had been brushed aside as mere coincidences? "Remember the storm 2 years ago?" someone offered. "Our homes were destroyed, but we came together, rebuilt, and grew stronger." A chorus of affirmations rose, reminding them of a bond that was unbreakable when anchored in love. Mary felt the fire igniting once more. She raised her hands. "Let us not just remember our strengths, let us celebrate them. Every trial brings us closer to God's grace." As the night deepened, stories flowed like a river, their faces illuminated by the flickering light of hope. Each testimony sparked a flame of faith, vibrant and alive. Tears streamed as they shared their burdens, but laughter echoed too, a joyful declaration that darkness would not prevail. Suddenly the air turned electric again as one of the younger villagers, Anna, spoke up. "Mary, I know David. He would always say that loving each other is the greatest miracle of all. What if we show that love with actions? Let's take food and blankets to those who need it." "Yes, we could show them our faith in action," shouted another voice, and enthusiasm rippled through the crowd like wildfire. Mary's heart swelled with pride. "Yes, that's it. Let's be vessels of love tonight. Each act forms a chain of miracles." They gathered together, hands clasping in solidarity, a tapestry crafted from diverse threads of humanity, ready to be woven into something beautiful. As they stepped back out into the stormy night, the wind seemed to whisper encouragement, and they ventured forth, angels on a mission of hope, each one a light to cut through the shadows. Yet, as Mary moved with them, one thought lingered. Would it be enough to heal not just David, but the whole community? Would their love be the miracle they all sought? The dawn was on the horizon, but what awaited them in that new day? Would the storm brew or break? Would they become the very change they longed to see? The cold wind howled around them, but the warmth in their hearts made the chill seem insignificant. Mary felt a sense of purpose rising within her like the dawning light that promised a new day. They journeyed through the village, each footstep echoing a prayer, each breath an offering of love. As they approached the first home, Mrs. Collins stepped out, her face weathered but her eyes bright with gratitude. "You've come! Oh, dear ones, I thought we were forgotten," she exclaimed, wrapping a shawl tighter around her shoulders. Mary stepped forward, giving her a gentle embrace. "Never forgotten, Mrs. Collins. You are loved," she replied, handing over the food and blankets. The older woman's eyes glistened with tears. "But how can this small act... Can it really change things?" "Every act of kindness is a ripple in the larger sea of mercy," Mary answered. "Let it flow, and it will touch hearts beyond what we see." With each home they visited, the village awakened. Laughter mingled with tears, and the air turned thick with gratitude as stories were exchanged. Mr. Alder walked alongside Mary, still grappling with doubt, but closely observing the transforming power of simple deeds. "Is this what faith looks like?" he murmured, almost to himself. "Faith is alive. It grows in sincere action," Mary said, smiling at him. "It's not always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's about whispering hope into the ears of those who feel forgotten." And whispers of love carried through the streets. They came to the old tanner's house, a structure that had seen better days. The door creaked open, revealing a frail figure, Mr. Tanner himself. A worn expression settled on his face, one that spoke of loss and longing. "Just a bit of light and love," Anna said softly, stepping forward. "Can we share some warmth?" His eyes widened, softened by the kindness. "My family, they've drifted away and I'm alone. Why would you come to me?" "Because you are not alone anymore," they all chimed in unison, encapsulating the moment in a powerful embrace of community. As the villagers continued giving, each person's doubt began to ebb away, replaced by glimmers of possibility. Mary noticed Mr. Alder watching, his brow unwrinkling little by little as he absorbed the healing taking place in front of him. Could this be what faith feels like?" he finally asked, his voice thick with emotion. "Yes, dear Mr. Alder," Mary beamed, unable to contain the hope swelling in her heart. "This is where miracles begin, in shared laughter, loving actions, and a community bound by compassion." As they finished their rounds, a new light appeared upon the horizon. The sun was rising. The storm they feared had transformed into a brilliant dawn, illuminating their hearts and giving rise to the unshakable realization that love won. Yet doubt still lingered in Mr. Alder's heart. Will we keep this spirit alive? Will our actions endure beyond this night? Mary paused, pondering his question deeply. It takes each of us, continually. The spirit must flow. It's a covenant of love we share with God and with each other. The villagers gathered once more, ready to bask in the warmth of the new day. Mary raised her hands high into the golden light, urging everyone to come together once more. Let's pledge to share our light, to be love in action in every moment we breathe, she called out, her voice rising with the sun. As the villagers shouted their yeses and amens, a profound weight hung in the air, a divine mystery neither could deny nor fully understand. The divine thread of possibility was being woven, but would it stretch beyond their gathering? A sudden, unexpected rustle caught their attention in the distance. What awaited them? Would the warmth they felt lead them to the truth they sought? As the first rays kissed the ground, the villagers stood vigilant, their hearts beating as one. Whatever lay ahead, they dared to hope. It could be the miracle they had longed for. The wind shifted, carrying with it a sense of anticipation, a stirring in the air that whispered of change. As the villagers stood together, a collective breath held them in communion, hearts thudding in rhythm with the dawning light. Mary's eyes sparkled as she felt something shifting, not just within themselves, but in the very essence of the village. "Look!" a child shouted, pointing toward the edge of the clearing. A figure emerged from the shadows, hesitant, yet somehow radiant. The villagers squinted against the sunlight to get a better view. "What do you see?" Mr. Alder asked, his voice wavering with a blend of excitement and trepidation. "It's Clara!" someone gasped. It was indeed Clara, the young woman who had left the village weeks prior, searching for a way to heal her family's wounds and lay burdens to rest. The very one they had all kept in their thoughts, whispering prayers for her and her journey. As she approached, the warmth of the dawn illuminated her face, revealing a newfound glow that spoke of inner peace and transformation. Clara's steps were deliberate, purposeful, as if she carried not just herself but the very weight of hope on her shoulders. "Clara," Mary called, her voice rising above the murmurs. "What has happened? You've returned." Clara paused, breathless yet invigorated by the air that carried the sense of healing and love. "I thought I was lost, that I would never find my way back. But in my search, I found something greater, the power of faith. I learned to breathe again, to trust again, and I knew I had to return." Gasps of disbelief and wonder rippled through the crowd, a chorus of amazed faces lighting up with possibilities. "Tell us," Mr. Alder urged. "What did you discover?" "The road was long," Clara started, her voice starting to falter. "But in every struggle I found grace. The moments of doubt were coupled with kindness shown to me by strangers. Each act of love I received was like a thread woven into my spirit, reminding me that God is with us, always." A wave of emotion surged as Mary stepped closer, placing a hand upon Clara's shoulder. "And how can we keep that spirit alive? How do we hold on to this unity?" Her eyes danced with hope, yet they reflected an urgent yearning for understanding. Clara smiled, the light easing over her features. "We must gather our stories, share our struggles and victories, and serve one another. Like plants need water to flourish, our faith needs nurturing. We can build a garden of love that is unshakable." "Clara is right. Our stories bind us together," Anna chimed in. "Every act we take, big or small, grows the roots of our community deeper." With that, Mary felt a flicker in her heart. The excitement danced like wildfire. She turned to face the villagers, a flame of inspiration igniting within her. "Will you join us? Will we share not just our blessings but our burdens too? Will we sow seeds of kindness that overflow like the sun's warmth?" An emphatic yes erupted from the crowd, echoing through the village like a sacred promise forged anew. Mary felt the spirit among them, a palpable energy flowing with each exhalation, weaving their lives together. Just then, an urgent voice broke through the celebration. "But what if the burdens are too heavy? What if we fail?" It was an all too familiar fear creeping into the open space of hope. Clara stepped forward, her expression serene and steady, as she felt the weight of concern. That is the beauty of unity, sharing not only joys but the struggles too. When we feel we can't carry on alone, we lean on one another, and there lies our strength. As they exchanged glances, spirits rose in the dawning light, yet a question loomed. Could they truly be the miracle they sought? Suddenly, a distant figure appeared again along the path, this time more clear as it approached. Who would it be? Would this new arrival bring a word of encouragement, or a challenge that would stretch their newfound resolve? The villagers held their collective breath, hope and uncertainty twinkling in their hearts. The figure drew nearer, wrapped in a humble cloak that whispered of distant travels. With each step, a quiet dignity radiated from them, and the villagers gazed in awe. Was this another soul seeking the refuge of their community, or a messenger bringing news that would test their faith? As the dusty traveler emerged fully into the clearing, the murmurs hushed. An elderly man, with eyes that sparkled like stars reflecting the night sky, stepped forward. His presence was both commanding and soothing, a blend of wisdom and warmth that filled the hearts of those gathered. "Peace," he said, his voice smooth as honey, resonating through the crisp morning air. "I come not to disrupt, but to share a treasure of grace." Clara's heart leaped at his words, sensing the divine in his presence. "Who are you?" she asked, stepping forward, curiosity igniting her spirit. "I am Eli," he replied, allowing a gentle smile to break across his weathered face. "I've traveled far, and God led me to this sacred space of unity and love. I have heard your prayers, your cries for strength, and I bring a message of hope." The villagers leaned in, captivated. Eli raised his hand, and for a moment, the sunlight seemed to shimmer behind him, casting a golden glow around the gathering. "You believe you can share your burdens and strengthen your community. You wonder if it is possible to truly live in unity," he said, his gaze sweeping over each person. "But it is essential you understand. The greatest gift lies not in the sharing alone, but in the preparation of your hearts. You must cultivate the soil of faith before planting seeds of kindness." A rustle of murmurs played through the crowd, exchanging glances filled with understanding. Clara felt the weight of Eli's words settle deep within her. "Prepare your hearts?" someone questioned from the back, the doubt creeping in once more. "Yes," Eli echoed, his voice firm yet kind. "In the busyness of life, it is easy to overlook the sacredness within your own souls. To nurture a garden of community, first, you must tend to your own spirit, through prayer, reflection, and love for yourselves. Only then can you support one another in profound ways." Eli paused, letting the metaphor sink in, the silence thick with contemplation. Clara remembered the days of doubt, the moments on her journey where she had learned to love herself enough to heal. Yes, this resonated with her soul. "Can we truly blossom in love if we ignore the roots of our own being?" Eli continued, the villagers nodding, a harmony of agreement swelling amongst them. "But what if we stumble?" Mary's voice shook slightly. "What if our hearts break, even when we try?" "Then you will help each other rise again," Eli answered gently. "Each stumble is not a failure but a moment of grace. The more you share not just your victories but your brokenness, the more you strengthen the bonds of love among you." The energy shifted, hearts opened wider, and the villagers began to whisper among themselves. They could see it now, everything interwoven, each person responsible for the other's hope and healing. As Eli concluded, Mary felt a surge of excitement. "So what do we do, Eli? How do we prepare our hearts?" "Start today. Gather for sacred moments of sharing," Eli instructed, his voice like a soothing balm. "Share your stories, your dreams, and your fears. In doing so, you will breathe life into this community of love." With each soul touched, the villagers felt invigorated. But just as the dawn promised a new beginning, something deeper lingered at the edge of Eli's words, a challenge wrapped in mystery. "Will you accept the call to deepen your spirit?" Eli asked, his eyes twinkling. "Will you dare to unlock the miraculous aura within you that attracts prosperity, love, and divine healing?" In the silence that followed, a profound stillness settled. Clara looked around. Each face reflected eagerness intertwined with hesitation. As they pondered their next steps, a soft wind swept through the trees, carrying with it the scent of blossoms, a whisper of something divine awaiting them. What would be revealed in this journey of the heart, and how would they unlock the miracles within? The air buzzed with potential and lurking questions. Clara felt her heart race with both fear and hope. It was time to take the leap. What would become of their united faith in the face of uncertainty? Would they become the miracles they so desired? The sun lifted higher, casting radiant beams through the trees as the villagers gathered in a circle, their hearts beating in unison. Clara felt a magnetic pull to share her own story. Even as doubt danced at the edges of her mind, she recognized the spark of courage igniting within her, nudged forward by Eli's presence. "Let us begin," she said, her voice steadying as she looked around the circle, meeting the eyes of fellow villagers. "I will share my fears and dreams. Perhaps in that, we can find the strength to prepare our hearts together." Eli nodded encouragingly, his old hands clasped together. "Remember, dear ones, the power of vulnerability can weave threads of love stronger than steel." Taking a deep breath, Clara began. "There was a time when I felt lost, as if I were adrift on a vast sea with no anchor. I carried burdens that weighed heavy on my heart." As she spoke, a hush fell over the crowd, captivated by her openness. "I worried I was not worthy of love, that my mistakes had cast me in shadows where hope could not reach. But with faith, I learned," Clara's voice softened, "that even in our brokenness there is light waiting to break through." A rustling sound pulled a few glances toward the trees, as if nature itself listened intently to her revelation. Spirits seemed to lift, hearts resonated, and Clara could feel the warmth of connection growing. "It's like the prayer of a seed before it bursts through the soil," Eli interjected softly, his eyes sparkling with fervor. "Strive to embrace the darkness, and the light shall surely follow." Assured by his words, another villager stepped forward. It was Rob, a gentle soul often caught in the shadows of his own insecurities. "I too have felt that storm inside me," he confessed, his hands trembling. "But what if I mess up again? What if sharing my pain only hurts others?" Eli's voice was steady like a firm ground beneath a weary traveler's feet. "Rest assured, Rob, it is through the cracks of our hearts that the greatest light pours in. Do not fear vulnerability. Together you will rise. Love shall lift you when the waves of hardship sweep you off your feet." One by one, hands raised, stories unfolded. There was laughter through tears, moments of silence that danced with compassion, and revelations that ignited sparks of hope. Mary spoke of her struggles with feeling alone despite being surrounded by family. Alice shared her dreams, once buried under layers of self-doubt, now emerging like blossoms through winter's frost. Each story was a precious thread, weaving a tapestry of understanding that bound them together. Eli smiled, observing the transformation. "You are all seeds of promise, nurtured by each other's experiences, ready to flourish. With every word shared, you lift one another closer to grace." He paused and looked deeply at each villager. "But you must also remember to allow God to tend to your spirits. Pray openly, give thanks, and embrace each other's light." The afternoon sun cast its golden hues across the gathering, and the feeling of divine acceptance enveloped them all. Clara felt an inexplicable calm wash over her, a gift that transcended understanding. As the group began to close their circle, a soft rustle on the periphery of the gathering captured their attention. A figure emerged from the shadow of the trees, radiant and mysterious. Their presence almost seemed to speak of wonder and promise. "Seekers of faith, what do you desire?" the figure asked, their voice echoing like a heavenly melody. A hush settled among the villagers. Clara's heart raced again, a mix of apprehension and anticipation. What revelation lay ahead? Would this unexpected visitor bring news of the miracles they sought? In that moment, like whispers on the wind, all they could do was wonder. What indeed would unfold? Would this new arrival reveal pathways of grace they had yet to discover? The figure stepped forward, cloaked in radiant light that shimmered like morning dew. Their eyes held a depth that both calmed and stirred the hearts of those gathered. Clara felt a surge of hope flood through her as she gazed upon this extraordinary presence. "Fear not, beloved ones," the figure continued, their voice wrapping around every soul present. "I am here to guide you through the doors of divine possibilities. Open your hearts and let the light shine in." A tremor of excitement swelled in the crowd, Clara held her breath, feeling the crackling energy of expectation in the air. This was surely a moment chosen by the heavens, a time for unveiling truths long hidden. Magic lives in your shared stories, the figure spoke, their gaze resting upon Clara. Every wound you reveal, every fear you conquer creates a pathway for transformation. Your vulnerabilities are not weaknesses, they are luminous invitations for divine healing. From the back, Mary whispered to the person beside her, "It's as if they know our hearts." The weight of her burdens eased in an instant, her spirit swelling with anticipation. Could it be true? "Indeed, my dear," the figure replied knowingly, as if tuning into their thoughts. "In this gathering, let your hearts beat with the rhythm of aspiration. What do you long for? Love? Peace? Connection? All is possible when you believe." Eli stood rooted to the spot with quiet grace, his hand resting gently on his heart. The divine aura enveloped him. "Let us not hold back our desires," he said, his voice steady yet tender. "For within our openness lies the seed of transformation. We must share with one another and with the light itself." Rob, drawing from a newfound courage, stepped into the warmth. "I seek the strength to let go of my fears," he declared, his voice trembling less than before. He felt like a branch stretching toward the sun, ready to bloom. "Then it is your truth that will flourish," the figure spoke, their smile bathing Rob's heart in a glow of reassurance. "Together, on this sacred ground, you will cultivate love and carve paths to your transformation." Others began to speak, each name that emerged from their lips a prayer set upon the winds. Clara felt her own desires rising within her, urging her to share. "I long for a connection deeper than I have ever known," she voiced, her heart racing. "I seek the courage to allow love to fill the gaps in my life." As the figure nodded, a soft breeze rippled through the trees, carrying the essence of their words into the fabric of existence. "Yes, Clara," they said. "What you seek is seeking you. Each moment shared here, each story told, brings you closer to your blossoming. But do not forget your gift of prayer. It is your lifeline to divine abundance." The villagers clung to every word, and a sweet harmony of souls knitted tighter in the fabric of faith. Each shared confession became a stone laid in the path toward collective healing. As Clara closed her eyes, imagining her dreams taking flight, she felt a radiant warmth envelop her. The presence of the figure seemed to infuse each heart with vibrant hope, but just then, an unexpected silence fell over the gathering. The figure's expression shifted, a flicker of urgency lighting their eyes. "The time for transformation is now," they said gravely. "But beware, as you embrace the light, shadows will try to cloud your vision. Stand together, for your strength is in unity." A ripple of apprehension swept through the villagers, hearts quickening at the thought of looming obstacles. Together, they understood the work ahead would be formidable. As the wind rustled through the leaves, they savored the possibilities and the daunting challenges before them. Could they truly join hands to navigate the unknown? Would their faith be strong enough to overcome fear? In this fragile moment, hope hung in the air, shimmering like gold dust. The next chapter of their journey awaited, shrouded in mystery and promise, and Clara felt an undeniable pull to dive deeper into what was to come. What transformation awaited them as they grasped patiently for light together? A wave of stillness enveloped the gathering, allowing each heart to respond to the figure's words. Clara opened her eyes, the energy around her transformed into an almost palpable current. She could feel the hope radiating off the people beside her, their faces aglow with yearning and faith. "What must we do?" someone called out, an eager voice breaking the silence. "Stand firm in your faith," the figure replied, their tone both commanding and nurturing. "Embrace the darkness that threatens to hold you back, but do not let it bind you. Your courage is like a flame, able to illuminate even the deepest shadows." Clara sensed the gravity of those words. The journey of transformation was not merely about personal struggles, but a shared bond with each soul around her. Each confession, each dream they had expressed, became intertwined with their collective strength. "Each of you has a role to play," the figure continued, glancing among them. "Begin by recognizing your fear. Acknowledging it is the first step toward breaking free from its grip. For only when we see our shadows can the light truly shine within us." Eli stepped closer to the figure, his brows furrowed in thought. What if the shadows feel too heavy? What if fear paralyzes us? The radiant figure smiled gently. Ah, dear Eli, know this, the journey will test you, but remember, the light you seek is within you. It pulsates with every breath, every heartbeat. Allow it to guide you through the pain and uncertainty. In unity, you will find the strength to lift one another. The villagers took a collective breath, whisperings of agreement flowing through the crowd. Clara felt her own trepidation bubbling at the surface. Would she be brave enough to confront her deepest fears, to unravel the threads that had kept her bound for so long? Rob, emboldened, stepped forward again. Together then, can we face this together? Yes! The figure's voice rose with excitement. Community is your greatest strength, your sanctuary in the storms that may come. Together you will pierce the veil of darkness. When one stumbles, another will lift them. When despair looms, hope will rise. Clara's heart raced. The idea of unity brightened her spirit. She glanced around, taking in the hopeful faces of her friends and neighbors. They were all in this together. They all sought the same light. Every time you share your light with one another, it grows stronger, the figure added, their gaze intense. You will soon discover that change is not something to fear, but something to embrace with open arms. With those words, a sudden gust of wind swept through the clearing, swirling their fears away like autumn leaves. Spirits lifted, and smiles spread as they laughed at the sheer magic of the moment. Yet, a familiar heaviness nestled into Clara's chest. She had to confront what she had hidden away for so long. The shadows of her past whispered their doubts. Could she truly step into the light, let go of old wounds that shaped her? As if sensing her struggle, the figure turned back to her. Clara, do not run from your fears. Instead, ask them what lessons they hold. Only then can you reclaim your power and fuel your transformation. Suddenly, the sky flared with golden light, casting a celestial glow upon the villagers. Awestruck, they looked upward, their worries dissolving into hopeful anticipation. Emboldened by the moment, Clara knew she had a choice to make. Could she embrace her truth, allowing the potential hidden within her to arise? What awaited beyond the horizon of her fears? As the light pulsed through the gathered souls, Clara made her silent promise. She would not let fear dictate her steps any longer. But then the figure's demeanor shifted, eyes narrowing with concern. Remember, as you walk toward the light, the shadows will retaliate. You must be vigilant. Unity is not just a call for togetherness, it is essential for survival. With that warning echoing in their hearts, the villagers stood in unity, a responsive collective heartbeat. Clara felt the warmth of their bond, but still, uncertainty lingered. What trials awaited them in the shadows? Would their newfound courage endure against the storms ahead? The unfolding journey loomed before them, wrapped in anticipation, and the pursuit of divine light pressed ever closer. The dawn broke over Maplewood, bathing the village in a warm glow, dispelling the lingering shadows of fear. Clara stood at the front of the gathered villagers, each soul encircled in an invisible web of hope and anticipation. The comforting presence of the figure from the night before lingered in her mind. "Today is a new beginning," she declared, her voice steady. "Let us embrace every moment with love and faith." The crowd erupted into soft murmurs of excitement, determination sparking in their hearts. Mary beamed at Clara, feeling the transformation unfold. "Together we can shift the tides," she affirmed, her expression radiant. Eli stepped forward, drawing the villagers in closer. "Remember, dear ones, it is essential to speak your fears no longer in whispers, but aloud. In the light of community, we unveil our burdens and become unshackled." Clara glanced toward the familiar faces around her. Rob, Anna, Mr. Alder, all seeking the same liberation they once felt held captive. "Let this gathering be a refuge," Clara announced. "Let's provide a space where our fears bring no shame but serve as beacons for our growth together." As the morning sun ascended, a sense of excitement electrified the air. The villagers shared their stories one by one, peeling back layers of doubt that had long weighed them down. They spoke not in despair, but with a deep sense of purpose, their vulnerability transforming into courage and strength. "I feared rejection," Anna admitted, her voice resounding with sincerity. "But when I opened my heart to others, I felt the warmth of acceptance chasing away every shadow." Empowered, Rob added, "I realized in facing my fears, those moments of deep engulfing fear, I found that love must be greater than my doubt. Even the smallest act of kindness ignites a powerful ripple. Each shared story softened the edges of skepticism that had previously kept Mr. Alder at a distance. Lifting his gaze, he spoke slowly, hesitation flickering in his eyes. "I thought love was a mere sentiment, but standing here, witnessing this, I'm beginning to see it's a force that can heal our souls." A small wave of encouragement erupted from the crowd in response to his words. Clara felt every heartbeat synchronize, a greater purpose igniting within their collective spirit. "Let us keep this spirit alive," Mary exclaimed, summoning the energy of the moment. "Let's pledge to support one another through light and shadow. In this very exchange we can flourish." As Clara glanced around, she saw the resolve in their faces mirrored back to her. Each of them represented a fiber interwoven into the vibrant tapestry of their community. Suddenly, there was a hush, as if the very earth had joined in their moment of solidarity. The figures of past fears and doubts began to dissipate, replaced by the exhilarating possibility of what lay ahead. "Do not shy away from your shadows," Clara spoke, her voice filled with firm conviction. "Embrace them, and watch as the light within you fights to break free." The sun ascended higher, casting warm rays upon them as they surrendered their burdens to the transformative power of love, each shared story lighting a path toward healing. As the ceremonies began to draw to a close, a voice rang out in the crowd. A call echoed with urgency. "What about David? Is it not time we pray for his healing and embody our faith?" A spontaneous agreement rippled throughout the villages, and without hesitation, they formed a circle, hands reaching out to one another, each heartbeat lending to the collective pulse of hope. "Let us call upon the divine for him," Mary declared, her voice steady, yet imbued with the fervor of 1,000 prayers. "Together, our faith can summon the miraculous." As voices rose in harmonious supplication, Clara felt the warmth of the divine wrap around them, an embrace of grace cascading over the gathering. Each prayer became a rose cast into the wind, blooming with intention and compassion. In that ethereal moment, the air crackled with energy, and Clara envisioned David enveloped in light, healed by the collective love they summoned. As the last prayer fell from their lips, a soothing silence settled among the villagers. Hearts aligned, they embraced the sacred moment of communion that persisted. Then from the horizon, a figure approached, the familiar shape of David, his face glowing with radiant energy, his feeble steps morphing into a fervent stride. Gasps of disbelief rippled through the crowd. "David!" Clara shouted, running to envelop him in her arms. "You're home!" Amidst gasps of joy and tears of relief, David beamed with a smile that shone like the morning sun. "I was being healed even when I couldn't see it," he said, incredulity and gratitude dancing across his face. "Your faith and love brought me back. I could feel it." A ripple of astonished joy enveloped the gathering as they realized the profound truth. In their unity, they had fostered the miraculous transcending fear with love. "Together, we are the miracle," Clara proclaimed, her voice soaring with fervor. "Let us always remember how love binds us, how faith transforms doubt into possibility." An explosion of joy erupted as their laughter danced upon the wind, wrapping around them like an unbreakable bond. Victory over darkness shaped the tapestry of their shared journeys. The power of love and faith declared its reign over Maplewood as one resolute spirit shined brightly, illuminating the path ahead. As the sun began to set on that miraculous day, Clara whispered a silent thank you to the divine, the promise of unity and love reverberating through each villager's heart, igniting a flame that would never dim. With hope reborn, they welcomed tomorrow, ready to unlock the divine potential waiting for them just beyond the dawn. And so, dear friend, bear witness to your own miracles. Know that faith holds the power to illuminate the darkest shadows. If you see the magic here, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like right away to feed the algorithm and spread this powerful message. We want to hear from you. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this magnificent ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this divine manifestation of faith. Remember, only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting our journey together.